There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonko table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonko table, the table that will make their dreams come true.
Ya yo, everyone. That is the voice of your Yonko host, Dr. Jay Saturni, and we're diving back deep into the land of the infected, the land where the revolution of the QZ zone has been commenced. Well, I guess it did commence already, but we're on episode 5, I think. Yes, episode 5 of The Last of Us TV series. And dare I say, it is probably one of the most heart-wrenching stories in this series of The Last of Us. Right up there with episode 3, the story of Bill and Frank. Although I do have some thoughts about this episode, and I feel like my co-host will also share that sentiment to a certain degree. But with me to deep dive episode 5 of The Last of Us TV series is Grandmaster Hoop. Grandmaster, how many tissue boxes did you need for this episode?
None. But
really,
I definitely had like a 2-3 teardrop moment where it just boom. I was like, and then like this one boom, and then I think double came down, and I was just so shocked. I really was. I thought I was like, this. It was so well done. It was so well done. But no, I didn't need any tissue boxes. I wasn't bawling my eyes out. It was the right amount of emotion that I elicited. And yeah.
Interesting. I get the feeling that you were bawling your eyes out for some reason. I feel like you probably needed therapy after this episode.
I'm okay. I just think what worked in this episode really made that final twist hit. Like the things that they nailed and set up really sent that shock over the top. And it was very well done. I applaud them for that because I really did not see it coming. And I should have.
Yes, you should have. You should know better. There's no happy ending in this story.
I mean, just thinking back, I was like, damn, I fell for it. I fell for the whole kind of, hey, you want to come to Wyoming?
You believed it. You thought
I believed it. I was like, cool, a squad. Yes,
just like One Piece. He's building his crew.
Kind of. And I'm a fool. I'm an idiot.
Very foolish indeed. I mean, this is the second part to, I guess, part 1 in tandem with episode 4. I know at least Dr. Mondo and I had some for the most part, criticisms of episode 4. I remember you were a stickler for that, saying, we gotta wait till episode 5. We have to make sure that they tell the whole story, and then we could judge it as a whole. I'll say this. I did like episode 5 a lot more than episode 4. But what I liked episode 5 for is this relationship with Sam and Henry. We get introduced to Sam and Henry finally. We heard their names dropped a lot by Kathleen.
Where's Henry? We have to find Henry.
Listen, my negatives in this episode are focused on Kathleen specifically.
That is fair.
And some of it carries on from the criticisms we had last week about Kathleen. But let's start with the positives. Sam and Henry. Are you here for Sam and were you here for Sam and Henry? Were you part of their story? Were you like, man, I need these two to survive. I hope they make it past episode 5.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Just looking at Sam and Henry, I was like, okay, obviously, I knew right off. I was like, the father, son, no, they're brothers, and we knew everyone was after them, and I was engaged with why, what was so wrong that Henry did to make them be after him and this little 8-year-old boy. I was very much invested into why, and throughout the episode, we learn the why, and we see them interact with Joel and Ellie. And it was really good, their character interplay, and again, it unfolded layers to kind of what this world is like with regards to Fedra. We've learned there's, that militarized group. We've learned from, Joel about the Fireflies. And then this episode reveals, I think what snitches, rats, whatever you want to call them.
This is I think this is something new. I don't think that was something from the games. Like,
this is something new.
Right. Like, they made it seem like, this is like another mini faction. Like, you're informants.
Informants,
Inform.
right? That's, I guess, what they were. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, there's no like official term to really call them compared to Fedra, Fireflies.
Well, I guess there is now, according to the TV series world.
I mean, I don't even consider them like really a faction. I think that's just their position. You know what? Like if I saw something that said "get those informants," in that sentence and the subtitle is not going to be capitalized. It's going to just be "get those informants." Compared to get those Fedra units, get those Fireflies. That will be capitalized. That's an actual name.
Sure. They built it up though, because the moment he reveals, I'm an informant. Joel's like, I don't talk to rats. I don't fuck with rats. So yeah, no, but very much I was invested the whole time with them, and we'll get into kind of the inner workings of how Sam and Henry work. But I really enjoy their performances, and goodness gracious, we'll get into it, but I'm here. I'm here for it. I'm here.
Okay. And I think that's a new element added to their story compared to the game. We mentioned it last week, but there was no at this point in the game, there was no like militarized, resistance group that was chasing Joel and Ellie and chasing Henry and Sam. If I remember correctly, Henry and Sam were just out there in the wilderness, and they're like, oh, we gotta survive and we're gonna keep on moving. They weren't being chased by anyone from what I remember. So this Kathleen and her squad chasing them because they're informants is something new. I guess that kind of like, it doesn't take anything away from their story, but at the same time I feel like it doesn't really add anything. It's just kind of there. So I'm not against it. I'm just like, for me, it doesn't do anything more because we get the same result at the end, which is the ending. We'll save that for the end. Were you gonna say something?
I'm gonna say again, and it's probably because I'm a non-gamer, it does work for me, this layer, and they kind of touch upon it in the behind the scenes. It just really highlights the lengths people will go and where people draw kind of that morality line, that gray line, as far as what will you do to save the ones you love in a situation like this. And I think it works from that angle, but with that said, the tie-in to Kathleen and the rebellion is where it really could have hammered it home, and it does not, because that's the weakest part of this two-parter, is that it doesn't really, everything else works except that, literally. So right. I think it works, but it is that element that drags it down.
It does, because when we get moments with Sam and Henry, I feel like those are the best moments in the episode, because this is something new, I believe, that's not in the game. Sam is deaf. He's hearing impaired. So that's something new that I kind of think adds a little bit of a soft spot in Henry's journey, because not only does he have his little brother that he wants to take care of, but his brother is not what's the word, like adept at this kind of world, because you would think like, one of the most important things in this world to have, I feel like, is probably your sight and a sense of hearing. How are you gonna know if there's like a group of infected like right behind you, or like if you hear gunshots? I liked moments like this where, Sam and Henry, they're on the run from Kathleen, and when when Henry hears gunshots, Sam doesn't react at first because Sam can't hear the gunshots. He has to see Henry's reaction, and of course Henry reacts because like, oh, whoa, gunshots, whoa, and he brings his brother down, but only in that split second moment does Sam react. He's reacting to his brother's reaction, and I like that. It's kind of like, man, they need each other more than anything. Sam needs Henry in the form of, that's his older brother. He's the one that's going to be protecting him in this world. And Henry needs Sam because Sam's his anchor. It's his one anchor in this world. And I mean, once you take away that anchor, you see what the result is.
Oh, God, yes.
But it's brutal. Like these performances with these two were the best part of the episode. Were there any specific standout moments that really sold you on them, or was it just like a general thing that you felt?
Let me say this first. I didn't know this was a change from the game. I was like, oh, he's deaf. Cool.
Right.
We don't see much deaf portrayal on screen, so I thought, what a really cool element. And as you pointed out, it's like it adds an extra layer of kind of just this stakes, I guess. As you said, Henry's got to be the ears. Sam has to adjust to watching his brother. I really like that element. I looked up the ending of this episode. I looked up the game equivalent.
Oh, okay. I thought you look up the ending of the game.
No. Sorry, no. Just the final scene of episode 5. I looked it up, the game comparison. I was like, oh, he's talking. Oh my gosh, he wasn't deaf in the game.
Right. Right.
So I think that's a really cool choice to go with. Not to mention too, the actor himself is also deaf.
Oh, is he?
Yes. Okay, so you didn't watch the behind the scenes because you couldn't find it.
I could not for some reason on my playthrough of the episode, it literally played the credits and then it just ended, and then there was nothing. I don't know why.
That happens to me half the time. I don't know why either. But yes, he is deaf in real life. I'm trying to find his name. Kevon Woodard. And they brought on, and I don't know this other guy's name, but they brought on this famous deaf coach who's been working in Hollywood for deaf scenes and whatnot. They brought him on to help out.
Okay.
Oh my God, it was so cool. I loved it. And then Ellie is, she knows sign too. She knows a little bit of sign. I really like those elements. It's just, again, it's representation that you don't really see. So I really liked it. But yeah, just they're really good characters that work really well together. As you can see, as you said, Sam is his anchor, and very much so he's the protector. We get a lot of this kind of symbolism with the kind of Bill set this up. You have your protectors and you have the loved ones, and you kind of watch them side by side. And what you have here is Henry recognizing his little brother, and despite this dark world where their doctor friend just died, they're on the verge of starvation.
Right.
He's like, yo, don't move. Let me put this superhero mask on you.
Doesn't he look like a Ninja Turtle?
I mean, maybe it's the orange.
I think I guess it's the mask. I'm used to, I don't know.
it's giving Ninja Turtle. I can see that. But it's like, look at him taking care of his brother. You know, he's like, man, this situation is grim, but if I can bring some light to this dark place for my brother, I'll go ahead and do it. So I like those moments like that. I like exploring the innocence of these children. You know, like he's over here teaching them. He's like, man, it's unfortunate, but hey, you got to pretend you about to shoot these people as we run up on Joel and Ellie.
Right.
You know, they're like, hold it just like this. Hold it just like this.
Just like
Okay.
this. You don't gotta fire it. Just be ready to. You never know.
Which it didn't even have bullets in it, but it's
It
like,
did not. It did not.
So yeah, I like the scenes where we see just him being a big brother in this terrible situation, and you know, they again, I applaud them too for being really creative. You know, he had that, I don't know what you call those things, the little where you apply pressure and you can draw and write.
Oh yeah, what
pad.
was that? Like
I don't know the name, but I've played with those before. I've seen them all the time. Just a really cool element though. It's like you know, he may have to sign, but he can write. And I like that. I like that. It just added kind of a layer to a character, a layer to how they survive this world. So I really enjoyed. I enjoyed everything about these two. And god dang it, it's like they wanted you to enjoy just to pull the rug from under you.
isn't that a sign of a well-written story, a well-written
Yes.
episode?
Yes.
Because they even had a lot of good chemistry with Joel and Ellie. I mean, Ellie was having a blast with Sam. She was like reading comics with him, playing with toy cars. I mean, they hit it off mad quick. And it's interesting because, you know, you have Joel being apprehensive at first. He doesn't want to help these two because it's like, oh man, 2 extra people we gotta look over and take care of. But you know, he first starts to see like the benefits of having them, because I think Henry put it best. It's like him and Sam have like the know-how on how to get out of this town, and Joel and Ellie have the I guess the brute force. They're the militants. They're the ones that are gonna plow the way. Because I think oh god, it was when they were telling each other stories. Like Henry was like, yeah, I saw the way you took out those you know, those resistance units back when your car crashed. And then I forgot how it segued into this, but Ellie said something like, yeah, and we fought off a clicker too. He's like, you fought off a clicker? 2 of them. 2. So it's like they know at that point, okay, these 2 can take care of themselves. They're gonna be the arms and legs, will be the eyes and ears on moving forward. And obviously, you know, they have to avoid Kathleen. Part of it is avoiding infected, but Kathleen and her goons are obsessed with the capture of Henry and Sam.
Right. It's annoying. I mean, just
I can't
for
wait.
logic.
We'll get to her. I can't.
Yeah,
wait.
we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Yeah, I just want to, as you said, yeah, it's just, I get it. Joel's reluctant, you know. Look at the situation that got him into this mess. Some guy pretending that he needed help, you know. It's hard to trust people out in this world. I get that. But they needed each other, and that's why they made such a good little team up.
Oh
and
my
to
god.
me, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I forgot that one scene where they still had the gun point. This was the funniest scene in the episode. They had the gun still pointed at Joel, and I think Henry said something like, promise you won't attack us if we put our guns away. And Joel says, I promise I won't attack you when you put your guns away. And Henry's like, man, you don't sound convincing.
He's an asshole. He just talks like that.
He's an asshole. He just talks like that. Joel, can you just please sound a little nicer? And I think he says it the same way again too. I just want to put that out there. That scene was just so funny. That was so funny.
that's good because part of me feels they were trying to portray Henry as somewhat of a pacifist. If I'm not mistaken, like there was that
Yeah.
line that you just said earlier. He's like, I never killed anybody before. I think he said what? He never even fired a gun before in these times. And then when he finally admitted that he killed someone, he didn't really actually do anything physical. It was more of
He informed.
he informed, and therefore he got the medicine for Sam.
Well, we
But
might
yeah,
as well
it's-
touch on that if we bring it up.
Well, sure. Real quick, yeah. Do you get pacifist vibes? That's what I felt.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially when he complains that Joel is not convincing him, because it's like he's complaining because he wants Joel to convince him that he's not going to hurt them if they put their guns away,
Because he ain't fighting back.
He does not want to fight back.
Right.
He'd rather not, but he just needs that, confirmation. My man, can you please convince me that you're not going to do anything?
I get it. Joe doesn't look or sound convincing, right?
He does not. But through these exchanges with like Joel and Ellie and Sam, we learn the reason why they're being chased. And oh god, it's so what? Henry used to be an informant for the Fedras. So I think the way these functioned these were like moles that were like kind of just stationed out throughout the Fedra facility, the Fedra, settlement, whatever, the town. And if there was any semblance of an uprising or any information that, Fedra would deem necessary, they had these little moles out in the, blending in with everyone, and they would snitch. That ideally, that's what they're supposed to do. I think they're supposed to snitch and inform Fedra so that they can take care of the problem as swiftly as possible. So with Henry, he's an informant. And what is it? I think he was really good friends with the brother of Kathleen. That was like, what did he say, father figure, or no? He said I forgot how he described Kathleen's brother. He looked up to him, right? Like it was like a good person, a good friend, I think.
Something along those lines. But yeah, it was very much they had a personal connection. Like it wasn't just, oh, that's her brother. No, they knew each other.
Right. Yeah, they knew each other, and it looks like Henry knew for a long time that, or maybe he didn't, I don't know. But, that resistance was brewing. It was building up. And then at some point, his brother got leukemia, and the only medicine for it was with Fedra. And the only way for him to get it would be to rat out someone big to get that type of medicine. And so he ratted out Kathleen's brother, and Fedra came in and took care of Kathleen's brother. So Henry got the medicine, heals up Sam, and this right here is Kathleen's vendetta against Sam. Oh, I'm sorry, not Sam, with Henry, because he is the reason why her brother died. She had a very close relationship with her brother, and because of Henry and Henry ratting him out, he ended up dying in a Fedra prison. So that explains like the whole chase sequence, like why Kathleen's wanting to do this. I'm telling you right now, this was not it for me. Kathleen, this is the end of Kathleen. She bites the big one at the end of the episode. Justly deserved. I did not like Kathleen at all. And not in the sense of like, oh yeah, they wrote her really well for you not to like her. You're supposed to hate her. No, like I didn't like the character and how they were portrayed. I think you said it best last week. I think it's in the voice. Like she has like I don't know how you described it. You
We're
said like
not
what?
saying this to be mean. It's
It's
not threatening.
it's not threatening. Like when I'm seeing someone that's supposed to be a leader of a resistance that overthrew a very oppressive, militant faction, my first thought is not hearing Kathleen's voice, if that makes sense. I don't know. And not only that, it's not just the voice. I feel like she didn't really do anything that showcased in this episode why she was the leader of this resistance group. Like, is that just me or is...
No. You're absolutely right. And that's what I was talking about as far as, talking about episode 4. The setup had to be there. The setup for Kathleen was not there. Again, episode 4 had us running around with chickens with their heads cut off, trying to figure out what's going on with her. In episode 5, we figure out what's going on with her, but we're left perplexed because her issue, trying to get revenge on Henry, or she calls it justice, is not that justified because they have bigger issues going on.
Much bigger issues.
And it will require a competent leader to realize this one man is not that big of a problem. And it'd be one thing if Henry was pivotal to, like, I don't know, dealing with a problem or anything of that sort. But literally, the Perry, was it Perry? The guy, the
guy with the
Tommy,
gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
he's
Perry.
over here speaking reason. He said, one, Henry is not that big of a deal. 2, your brother forgave him way back when for doing it, for informing, and your brother would
I'm
want
not my
you.
Brother.
And
I don't forgive.
And that doesn't work simply because, like, you're supposed to be the leader. Why would they be following this leader?
And not only that, Perry, you mentioned, brought that up, right, about the brother. I forgot at what point he says this. At the end of it all, he eventually says, "Oh, we're with you, Kathleen. We're with you every step of the way." Like reconvincing her, like, "Oh, you still want to go for revenge? Well, don't worry. We'll follow you to the ends of the earth." I'm like, what? Like, what? You were the voice of reason up until this point, and now all of a sudden she keeps talking about, like, my brother was the forgiving one, and I'm not so forgiving. And now he's like, "Let's do it, Kathleen. Let's hunt Henry." What? What? I cannot. Perry was the sensible one, but then that gets thrown away in like a couple minutes. And I just can't with this when we get little hints in the last episode that there's a bigger threat looming. There's something literally making the concrete breathe underground. And it's like, no, just seal it off. Henry is number 1 right now. Why? He's trying to escape. Like, I get it. She wants revenge. She wants justice. But it's not like Henry is hiding in the town. Henry is trying to run away. Like, leave. Let him leave. He's probably going to die out there. I don't know what. He doesn't have a car. He doesn't have. He has his brother slowing him down. I mean,
he's running low on food.
Kathleen, I think, I'm just saying, I think he's probably going to die out there if you remove Joel and Ellie out of the equation. That's just me.
And see, you can sit here and pick it apart all you want, and then it's just you're left with, it doesn't make sense. And honestly, by the climax of the episode, it really even hits it more home that this was not a element that was working, because like there was no resolution for her character of any kind of no morality, no anything. If anything,
it was kind of sadistic a little bit, like,
right? I guess
she had that speech at the end with she was talking with Henry when they had them pinned, when they eventually caught up, and
right,
and she's like, "Oh, I don't get it twisted. I know why you ratted out my brother. It's not like I'm misinformed on that. But did you ever once consider that Sam was supposed to die? Maybe it was fate. Maybe he should have." And I'm like, damn, I don't know, like, like
Yeah, no. She again. So
if her character is supposed to have like some kind of duality in terms of like, ooh, she dropping some bars right here, that maybe she does have a point. It's like, no, I don't feel for her. I don't feel for her in any side of this at all.
So a lot of what Kathleen does is just set up more of Henry's resolve. You know, she says stuff like, you know, kids die all the time. Is he worth everything? And it's for Henry's care.
How hypocritical. She's the one sacrificing everything for.
Well, she's literally sacrificing everything. She's sacrificing her resource, her men, everything. But what it comes down to is that her little, you know, her little hunt just makes Henry realize, yes, Sam is his everything. He was then, he still is his everything now. This builds up Henry's character more than it does Kathleen's character, because when she asked that of him, he's like, get Sam and get going. You know, I'll sacrifice my life. You let the kids go. You know, just I want Sam to live. I went through all this trouble for him to live. I want him to still live. You know?
No.
Yeah, and then from there it's just like, okay, there's nothing here with your character. There's no redeemability. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. You're just that far gone, which I can see this world pushing people to that. But again, her brother was like, would want you to forgive. Perry's over here. Your brother would want you to forgive. Your brother already forgave him. Your brother knows why he did what he did, you know? And so ultimately, I guess it's just a portrayal of what happens when you live in this world and you let negative emotions drive your decision making. Because as we would find out in the big climactic scene, everything went to hell for Kathleen.
Did you this is where I liked this scene, but at the same time I was kind of conflicted on it. Did you feel
Machina?
Right. Did you feel like this was too coincidental? Like, of all the places for the infected to just burst out of the ground in droves, it just so happened to be like at this spot where they're needed to escape at this moment, at this exact moment.
I guess the big thing that was not shown throughout this was that, you know, Henry knew about the tunnel systems. Henry said, oh yeah, they've been hoarding all the infected down here for years, right? But no one's seen them.
My buddy went down there 2 or 3 years ago. It's clean.
Exactly. So it was like, you know, he's saying all this and they literally don't run into any infected. So you're like, oh, they must be in the clear. And I wish there was kind of a rhyme or reason for where they were and how they would end up over there. Because it's like, you know, if the idea is that they follow the sound. You know, Kathleen's crew is all making noise.
On
their side.
Maybe I would have needed that to like, because like it did feel coincidental. It felt like of all the spots. But then if it's noise, if that's what it was, I think I would be sold a little bit more. Like, yeah, they're shooting, they're making all this gunfire. That truck just like ran into that house and blew up. But there's nothing saying that though.
Right. No. It was very coincidental. And I wish there was just a little layer of, you know, Kathleen, like, yeah, we rerouted them to the suburban side or, you know, anything like that, because good Gugu Mowgli, they just fucking poured out of there.
That was World War Z style.
That was very World War Z. And I'd like to applaud the show too. Again, they show this in the behind the scenes. Half those people are practical effects. They're in costume.
That's nice.
The other half are motion capture, just for kind of the more of the fast sequences where they're coming out. It's a mixture, and I really like that. I really dig that. But yeah,
Let's-
World War Z, it was given.
Very. Let's address that elephant in the room with the infected.
Sure.
We get introduced to a new type. Bloater. Bloat.
And they don't say that in the game, right?
They don't say bloat in the game. They're
They
not
can't
boomers
talk.
from Gears of War. No.
All right, just
Boom.
fight. Bloat.
No, they don't. I did see a couple complaints about the bloaters in this episode. In particular, they didn't really explain what they were.
No.
I feel like there was some imagery that you could maybe piece together for the most part. Like, the bloater comes out and he's just one-shotting everyone. And he's taking a lot of bullets from people. Like he's taking like full-on automatic rounds from like assault rifles and other machine guns and everything. And it doesn't seem to phase him. That alone kind of implies, oh, this is a tank. This is the tank. It can take fire and everything. But outside of that, it didn't really do anything else that a bloater does. I know bloaters in the game. I'm pretty sure they do this. They like take chunks of themselves, like spores or whatever, and they throw it, and that does some damage. But the fear of a bloater is that it's a tank. If it comes near you and grabs you, that's it. Done. Dead. You kind of see that with Perry. He goes bloat and he rips his head off.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, okay, yeah, he ripped his head clean off. Right.
Right.
Jesus.
Did you want more of an explanation? Like maybe not in that moment, obviously, because it's chaos, but like kind of like how they built up clickers, where before they met the clicker, and actually kind of like right immediately before they met them and they thought they were about to encounter a clicker, they're like, listen, clickers, stay quiet, shush, don't talk low, be quiet. It's not about speaking low. Shut the hell up. Do not say a word. And there's this build up to be like, oh, okay, this is the rules with clickers. This is how clickers function. And we're about to meet a clicker. Did you also want that for the bloater? Or from what you've seen of the bloater, it's like, this is not really anything. It's just a tank.
I was fine. I'm sure they will explain it, I would hope, because
unless they come back, I don't know.
I'm sure maybe it'll come back. I still don't even know what it is. What is it? Just when a bunch of this stuff piles on top of each other?
From what I recall, it's like it's in game. It's considered the rarest form of infected. It's the rarest. Like not.
Oh, really?
It's very difficult to get to that stage. And it typically implies this person has been alive for decades.
Okay.
It's basically like one of those final stages of infection where it's like if for some reason they develop a cure in this world, if that's even possible, that person is not being cured. They're gone. They are gone. So it goes from like infected to clicker, and then bloater is like, that's it. That's the most infected you got.
So a bloater's like I don't know what, because it's been 20 years in the span of the show. So a bloater is very much you got infected 20 years ago and you've been kicking since.
That's what's implied. Yeah, because it doesn't happen overnight. Like it's not like you become a bloater like in the span of like a week or a couple
Takes
months.
A decade or so.
Right. So that's why they're so rare.
Okay. I get that. I mean, did they need to explain it right away? No, I guess for non-gamers, it's kind of more, whoa, how does that happen? Kind of mystery. Will we see that again? Which I guess I'm okay with. Again, it was chaotic. No one out here was, Joel wasn't out here like, oh, Ellie, that's a bloater. They've been underground for 20 years. Run. That's
while
like
he's sniping.
So I'm okay with it. I'm okay. Did the bloater steal its little? Did it have its little moment? Yeah.
Actually, they didn't even kill the bloater, right?
No, he's kicking.
Yeah, they started
half those
chasing
infected.
the rest of the units, the rest of
Yeah.
the soldiers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Kansas City's probably gone. I mean, I
Right.
don't. Yeah, at this point,
Way to go, Kathleen. Great.
literally. Again, this is what happens when you blindly follow leadership. So I guess that make it resonates. Kathleen was blinded by revenge, therefore led them into a massacre. Literally.
Right. And that ultimately led to her death as well. I think she got jumped on by
She did.
some crazy infected that was chasing Ellie. But in the chaos of all this, you see, I vaguely remembered Sam and Henry's story from the game. Like I remember they died, and I remember there was like a struggle in terms, like it wasn't like someone shot them or whatever. It was more like an internal struggle as to how they died, but I didn't remember the specifics. There's this scene where like they're hiding under a car. I think it's Henry and Sam. And there's like a bunch of infected like grabbing them. Immediately when that happened, I'm like, oh, I remember. This is it. All those grabs, that's touching something. I don't care how many times you're kicking, that someone's getting touched from that infected.
So part of me was like thinking just that. And I was like, nah, it'd be redundant because that's pretty much how Tess went out. She gets bit off screen, And I was like, everybody's fine. I was like, yes, they're out of there. They're at a motel. Yes. We're going to Wyoming. Yes.
We're going to Wyoming. Oh, we're squatting up. Nakama. Ikebari honto, hands up.
I was here for it, and I thoroughly believed it. Like, as you said earlier, Joel recognizes the kinship forming between Ellie and Sam. Joel can use some extra hands as far as, bearing the blunt work as being the protector.
Right.
So it sounds like a great deal. And Ellie is out here, before they go to bed, she's like quoting the comic books.
Yeah, they're reading like the comics, and you notice Sam's like not smiling too much. He's not like kind of in the moment with Ellie like he usually was.
Right.
And what was it that he asked? He said
to Ellie.
Yeah, to Ellie.
Okay. So, and I looked this up when I looked up the scene from the game. This is almost like not word for word, but it's pretty much the same. He writes, are you ever scared? Because and again, in my head, I was like, oh man, he's just kind of traumatized from what just happened.
Yeah, that's a significant event.
Right. And I was like, I get it. That was crazy. I'd be traumatized too. And, Ellie's like, she's like, I'm only ever scared of scorpions. She's joking with him because she's trying to liven him up a bit,
Right.
She understands he was scared. And here's Ellie now becoming somewhat of a protector, trying to keep his innocence and keep his childhood. And so she admits she's scared all the time. But she's like, I have to be brave, and that's why I don't always look scared. And I was like, good job, Ellie. Way to be a protector.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sam asked, when you turn into those monsters, are you still yourself? Are you still you? And I was like, fuck, why is he asking that?
Lifts up the pant leg. Oh no! Wait, was it his leg?
It was his leg. His leg. And that is when I literally, and again, I rarely ever like kind of talk at the screen, especially when I'm by myself. And I was like, oh no. I literally was like, it came out of my mouth. I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, it got me. It got me. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then, she's like, look, I get bit all the time. I have magic blood. I can heal. She cuts herself and she puts her bloody hand to the wound. And I was like, ooh, is this gonna work?
Did you buy it? Did you buy it, or were you
was
skeptical?
into it. I was like,
Wow.
I mean, I don't think there was any instance where she's ever done this, but I was like, oh, maybe she has done this before. And she seemed very confident, you know? So I was buying it. I was buying it the whole time. And he's like, will you stay up with me? And she does for the most part. And they have a little, like a nice little goodbye hug, and she does fall asleep. And again, I think this was shot so well. Sam is just sitting there the next morning, and even the captions play a part here. The captions say Sam is humming. It says he's humming.
Oh, he's humming?
The caption, I literally have it pulled up right now. It says Sam hums. I'm like, oh, he's humming. He's singing. He's him. It's still him.
Could he be? Oh man, maybe I need to see the scene again. I think I remember it, but could it just be like the humming is like?
That's what it is though, and that's why I say the captions play a perfect role here. Because the moment I saw Sam hum, it's like it literally just says Sam hums. I'm like, oh, he's singing, but it is as you said. That's just kind of that, you
bought into it, like if it meant humming, like, oh, he's singing a tune. Hello, my honey. Hello, my darling. Like,
absolutely. And then,
but no, it was not singing.
And again, this shock factor really worked because again, he is just sitting and correct me if I'm wrong. If you're not making a noise, they're not going to hit you or they're not going to come after you.
Yeah, they're very sound sensitive. They can still see. Infected can still see unless they're like a clicker or whatever.
But he's not moving.
He's not moving.
He changes in that same position overnight because there's no way that infected sat down upright. And it's just like, oh, I'm just gonna sit here. Nah, he's just looking. But he's not reacting because she's asleep and she's silent. She's not snoring. So it makes sense why she didn't get attacked in the night. And bam, he turns at her and he is gone.
It's Ogre. I think Joel and Sam, they hear like a scuffle going on in the bedroom, and I think Ellie like just collapses outside of the door with Sam on top of her. And oh my god, okay, this was done really well. You have Joel's initial reaction to obviously go help Ellie because it's clear as day Henry is infected. I'm sorry, Sam is infected.
Sam is infected, yes.
And he's making the rah, 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 like he's infected. But Henry stops him. Like he has a gun pointed at Joel, and you have this standoff where it's like, Henry.
He shoots the ground to stop Joel.
I think he shoots him. I think at first he just like points the gun at him, right? And then like Joel is like, oh, screw it, I'm going for it. And then and then Henry shoots the ground. He's like, I'll shoot you.
Right. Yes. And it is a desperate situation going on.
You see that look of like Joel is just trying to figure out what the hell do I do? Like Ellie is about to get eaten alive by this kid. Henry is the one with the gun, but he's pointing it at me to stop me from helping Ellie. Like, what is he just gonna let Sam eat Ellie? Like, what's gonna happen? And it was all so fast in that split second. I think Henry made the decision. Boom, shoots Sam.
But oh man, it was such a split second though because he doesn't even. It was instinctive. It was reactive. Him shooting Sam, and if we were correct, that's his first time ever shooting or killing anyone physically.
How poetic!
And then he realizes what he just did, and he
still has the gun pointed at Joel, like
Right.
the tension is still not gone from the room, because you're like,
Yes.
oh man, what is he gonna do next?
Well, oh man, just very much. It's just like he's like, what did I do? What did I do? And then it's in Joel's voice that you can hear when he says, you know, give me the gun, Henry. And he's not saying give me the gun because he's fearing that he'll shoot him. I really much think that you see it in Henry's eyes. And shout out to let me get his name real quick. He did a really good job. Lamar Johnson. You see it in his eyes. And I think Joel realizes it too. Because again, I think Joel's been around enough that if he doesn't take that gun, Henry is not making it. You know?
Right.
And very much so, that is exactly what happens. And I'm telling you right now, that is when that whole sequence, they are coming one at a time. I was so shocked. I could not believe it. And I was like, in my head, I was like, I'm an idiot. How did I not see this coming?
Bamboozled. Buffoon.
I'm like, you've seen this before in like the zombie genre, the apocalyptic genre.
It's a trope. You see played a lot. To a degree, it's like, I mean, was it a trope back then? Because this is like maybe 2013, 2012.
Yeah, I guess The Walking Dead is not even in 2012. You said.
I'm pretty because this game came out I'm pretty sure 2013.
2013, yep. And shows like The Walking Dead, dare I say, probably were only into its second season in 2013, give or take.
Okay.
Walking Dead starts in 2010, so they're 2013. They're in season 3. And that makes sense because again, I know for a fact there was not a scene, not specifically like this. I mean, there are scenes that play out similarly to this, but I don't think they really hit home until like a couple of seasons later. But man, I think what really works here is that, like I said earlier, I'm invested in Sam and Henry, and this episode just does a really great job at making you care about them for the little more than an hour of time you spend with them, because you spend a good chunk of the episode with them. You know, we talk about how these episode beginnings play out differently, you know.
Right.
This one jumps back a couple of days or a week or so. I think it was a week because they said that the doctor had been missing for like a week.
Oh, yeah. Because the Kathleen killed the doctor in episode 4, but we see him alive in this episode when he helped Sam and Henry escape.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, we know it's been a while. It's about a week by the time they realize we gotta go, and then like Joel shows up. So yeah, you really end up caring about these two, man. He said, this is where we're gonna stay a while. Here are your crayons. This place pretty, Sam.
Paint this place. Make it your own. No, it was a pretty emotional episode. I'll admit, I did not shed a tear in this episode, but you know what? I feel like part of that, because I can't emphasize this enough. I love the performances from these two actors that played Sam and Henry. I think part of what played a role in me not like getting emotional at all, I knew this was coming.
Right.
Like, I don't remember the context as to how it happened, or but I remember it was tragic. I remember the little brother's the first one to die, and for whatever reason, from the brother's death, the older brother's like death comes right after because he can't handle it. I just didn't remember all the details involving it. So when this happened, I'm like, oh man. I mean, I saw it coming, but it was still good. I can't emphasize that enough. It makes me wonder, would I have shed a tear had I not played The Last of Us? Before?
I think you would. I was talking to my friend. I told her I shed a tear go, because she had not watched 4 and 5. I was like, just watch them back to back. They're two-parter. You're going to cry. You're going. And sure enough, she did.
Look
Sure
at
enough.
that. Look at that. It was a very good episode from the performances of these two characters. The Kathleen bit, whatever. It's a means to an end, I guess. Henry offs himself, and I mean, this silence between Joel and Ellie is like great. Let's go bury them, I guess. They don't say that, but it's like, what do we do now?
Oh, well, I guess
sucks.
there's a couple of things going on. You know, it's like Ellie, that she just lost a close friend, and it's like there goes more of her innocence. She watched this man shoot himself. There goes more of her innocence. Joel is very much like, as much as I want to protect this girl from the horrors of this world, I can't. It's becoming unbearable. Now they said this at the in the behind the scenes. They said Joel is very much worried that he's gonna end up like Henry, to where Ellie becomes his everything. And God forbid something happens to Ellie, because he might respond just like Henry did.
Oh man, I need to see the behind the scenes. I make it a point to watch these for the HBO shows that we watch, because I like them. I feel like they give much needed context to the episode, and I was so annoyed when I couldn't see it at the end of this one. I went looking for it. I was like, I remember texting you, where do you go to find the behind the scenes, because it wasn't at the end of the episode. But maybe it's there now. I just remember I watched it on Saturday.
It's there now, because I got it pulled up. I don't know why they did this to you, but it's there right now. If you wanted to go back and look at it, it's there.
I'll probably look back after this and give it a watch. They bury Sam and Henry, and they move on with their journey. Oh God, I don't even know what the preview is for next week. Good. What did they show? Because I couldn't see it.
You want to know? Well,
I mean,
let me ask this. Based on the game, where do they go next?
That's the problem. I don't know the sequence of. I don't remember the sequence of events that have to describe like what's going on, and then I'll go.
They're in Wyoming. They made it.
Wow. Oh wait, but like, who did they meet in Wyoming?
Tommy is right there.
Tommy. Okay, no. Okay, but I know they meet Tommy at some point. I don't remember in what context. I don't remember if they like bump into him on the way over there.
No, they get to whatever settlement Tommy is at. He's right there.
Okay.
It's like winter now, or at least they're in the mountains. So it's
okay. I saw
snowing.
Parts of that.
Yeah, I think they show parts of it in the trailer and whatnot.
I think I could be. Oh God, I gotta see this damn trailer. I think because I think the ads appear on my Twitter feed. I think that town. I could be entirely wrong. I think that town is the same town from The Last of Us Part 2. I could be wrong, because I saw snow. I saw snow and the layout of the preview, but I hadn't watched the episode 5 yet. So I'm like, oh, nope, I don't want to see this. So I scrolled past it. But I remember like just the crossroads that they showed in the town, and just it being winter and snowing. It reminded me for that split second. I'm like, oh, Last of Us 2. Oh, nope. Scroll past it. So I know they meet Tommy. I think there's still a bit of a journey before, because they're not at the Fireflies yet. Like, sure, they made it to Wyoming, but Tommy is not. I don't think he's with the Fireflies. That's just where Tommy's at right now.
I think you just need to see it. I was like, damn. Because when I saw it, I was like, oh man, I didn't think they'd be getting here for a while.
Yeah, it makes me wonder, because I remember there was a bit of gameplay with Tommy. You know, he's kind of like tagging along for a little bit. But in terms of like what is left, I mean, I'm telling you, the milestones that I remember from The Last of Us is Tess, Bill, and Sam and Henry. Like those were like if you want to consider them arcs, like those were the arcs in the
Right.
game that I remember. I don't remember anything else after that. I don't think there's any other characters major, like, you know, new ones that you're gonna meet. Because there's only 9 episodes. So
Yeah, only
like
9. Yeah.
6, 7, 8, 9, 4 left. I guess we'll see. I probably just need to watch it so I can get a better feel for it, the trailer. But damn, okay. So they're there. That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see how that goes. Are you excited for next week's episode, or it's kind of like, oh wow, okay, they're in Wyoming?
Oh no, I mean I'm excited because again I have to imagine that, because again I didn't think we get here so quick, but I guess see episode 5 would definitely serve as kind of the mid-season finale, so I guess that makes sense that this is the next half of, you know, kind of this season 1. So we might just get this big jump and put us in Wyoming, but from here I'm like, all right, I'm guessing the stakes are going to be a little higher. I mean, they're here to get Tommy, but like, you know, we got to get her to the West Coast. Ellie's got to get to the West Coast, so they still got some ways to go. So I'm excited to see where this goes, and how does Tommy's involvement going to play into this, or if it does or doesn't. So yeah, no, I'm here for it. Yeah,
Might meet Troy Baker in this town. We still haven't seen. Troy Baker.
Yeah, might see Troy Baker. So yeah, no, I'm good just seeing where this goes, and yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm good with it. I'm excited. Yeah, I think Tommy, his actor Gabriel Luna, good actor. I like to see more of him. So let's see what happens.
All right. Yeah, same here. You know, great episode 5, and 4 episodes left. Yeah, I really don't remember this portion of The Last of Us. Like, I remember the ending, so don't get it twisted. I remember that ending. But that ending, I imagine, is gonna be just one episode, maybe a two-parter. But yeah, we still have 2 episodes before that, so 6 and 7. Have no idea what they're gonna cover, but I guess we'll see. But I would say that kind of wraps up our thoughts overall on episode 5 of The Last of Us. Let us know what you all think in the comments below. Are you here for Sam and Henry's journey? Did you feel the same emotion? If you played the games before, did it hit home? How does it rank up there? Because I've seen a lot of comparisons, and I think it's totally fair. How does it rank with the Bill and Frank episode? I feel like these two are probably so far the most emotional, the most emotionally tolling episodes in The Last of Us. You got Bill and Frank. Actually, no, maybe episode 1 with that first sequence with Joel and his daughter. Sam, what was her name? I forgot. Joel's daughter.
Oh gosh.
Joel's daughter.
Come on, man. You played the game, man.
I don't remember her daughter's name. She dies in like the first 20 minutes.
You're supposed to know this stuff more than me.
I don't. I know bloaters and clickers. There you go.
Those aren't names.
Click.
Sarah.
But yes, those 3 episodes. You got Sarah's death, you got Bill and Frank, and you got Sam and Henry. So far, the most emotionally told episodes. As for a comparison, I mean, that's really hard. I feel like they're all pretty emotional. Man, I couldn't tell you. Maybe I gotta wait for the ending. I feel like they all did what they were supposed to do. It's tough to compare which one's the most emotionally tolling, you know, episode.
I'm just gonna say this was my peak emotion as far as shock value goes.
I mean, clearly.
And then the other one
cry
was
on the other ones.
I didn't cry on the other one because it wasn't much of a shock. As their age progressed, I think it was obvious what was gonna happen. But romantically speaking, I thought, of course, that was really well done. So I wonder what the show will do next as far as emotions go.
Right. Oh man, yeah. Let me not say more.
Don't say a damn thing.
But let us know what you think, folks. If you enjoy the episode, let us know down below wherever you're listening to us on, whether it be Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, at the Yonko Table. We're popping up on TikTok, so check us out on there. And if you want to check out our gaming side, we've been playing a lot of Elden Ring and a certain game in the Sphere as well. Check that out at Dr. Jace Attorney on Twitch. And yeah, let us know what you think down below. But with that, everyone, we're signing off. I'm your Yonko host, Dr. Jace Attorney, fellow Yonko Grandmaster Hoop. And we're going to close off with our favorite lines from The Infected. So go ahead. What does the bloater say?
You say he doesn't say anything.
What did you think they say?
Bloater.
Catch you later.
Terrible.